when you're on the stage, it's great. But there's always a lot of problems surrounding every festival, not just Cosquín. Every festival has muy problemas logísticos. Siempre. It's just the way it is. So I prefer un show en un teatro lindo y tranquilo y vamos al escenario. Pero, hey, come on, it's Cosquín. So siempre igual y es Cosquín. Es la más grande en Argentina. So, sí, obvio, me encanta.
One history that you never told about your work with Mick Jagger.
What about it?
Some history that you never told or never journalists asked about your work with Mick
Dame
Jagger.
100 pesos.
Can you tell something about your work?
Es por mi libro.
Ah,
Este es el libro.
you are writing about.
If you ask me something specific, I can maybe give you a story, but just to say, hey, ¿cómo fue con Mick?
You are thinking to write a book about your job with Mick Jagger?
I'm thinking to write a book about my life.
I am writing.
I've begun, yeah.
Now or you
Now.
wrote
Now, I started last year. I started in the pandemic.
In the book you will tell all the history about how Mick Jagger called you and how you...
See, but I've told some of those stories many times, you know, many times. But some stories I never told. I want to keep them.
And marking moon of television is 24 years older.
45.
45. What can you say about your history with television?
Well, the biggest thing that I can say is that I wish it would continue. But in this moment, the band is not playing, and for many different reasons. As you know, maybe you know, I joined the band in 2007, and para yo tocar con Tom, la principia en 80. So, por mí, muchos años con Tom, 42 años. Pero Tom y Fred y Billy, bajista, baterista, 8, 9 años más mí. Y when you are 72, 73, it's not so important to get on an airplane, travel the world, you know, unless you are the Rolling Stones and you get $1 million for every show. It's not so easy, you know. So, in this moment, the band is not playing. I hope, I wish that we would do some more shows, but I don't know.
What can you tell about the scene of New York? You was talking about 80 with television. What can you say about another scene of New York?
Well, I can tell you that New York cambió mucho. Nueva York ahora es no Nueva York 70s, 80s. Todo distinto. Todo. Por mí, ahora, Buenos Aires es muy lo mismo Nueva York en los 70s, 80s. No limpia, criminales y mal economy, bad economy. And it's the reason I love Buenos Aires, because I feel like it's the New York of my younger years. it reminds me very much of it. When I go to New York now, it's like, ¿qué ciudades? No sé.
You are a producer of Guasone.
Sí.
What can you say about this band? What
I
do you
think
like?
that Guasanes is, for me, the #1 band of the real rock and roll in Argentina. I love Guasanes. I think Paco y Maxi are great songwriters, and the band, the classic rock and roll band. The band together plays bigger than the separate musicians. Separate musicians, like the Rolling Stones. Separate musicians are very, very good, but not virtuoso. But when they play together, they make a sound and they give a feeling. It's very, very special. And it's not easy for just anyone to duplicate. Even a sessionista, un grande virtuoso, it's no fácil. The chemistry of those 5 guys, muy alto, very high level. I love it.
You tell about the Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone without Charlie Watts. Are the Rolling Stone?
Rolling Stones without Brian Jones. Are they the Rolling Stones? Rolling Stones without Mick Taylor. Are they the Rolling Stones? Of course they're the Rolling Stones. Yes, of course. Of course. Charlie was my friend. Do I miss him? Yes. Do I like him in the band more than Steve Jordan? Of course. And Steve Jordan would say the same thing. I know Steve Jordan since we were teenagers in New York. He was no bigger fanatico, Charlie Watts, than Steve Jordan. It's the reason Charlie said Steve is the guy. So, I've seen more than 200 Rolling Stone shows, since I was a child. With Brian Jones, I saw the Rolling Stones. And things change, man. We all get old, we're all gonna die. I'm very happy that people who have never seen Mick, have never seen Keith, they can go someplace and say, I saw them play those songs. It's all about the songs, and Mick and Keith will say the same thing. It's all about the songs.
You talk about Brian Jones, Keith Richards, but no about Mick Taylor. Mick Taylor. What can you say about Mick Taylor? Do you like Mick Taylor with the Rolling Stones?
I think for me those were the best years, and for many, many other people, those 5 records, 6 records. For me, my favorite, but I think it was the peak, the high point. I love Mick Taylor, but again, he was more special in that band than before or after. There was this very special chemistry when he was in that band that he's never been able to repeat. Never. I think he was crazy to leave. I really do. I think it was a legendary bad move. ¿Me entiendes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Charlie Watts, any history with Charlie Watts? Because you said in the interview that was your friend.
Yes, well, yeah, I knew very, very well. And I recorded a lot of tracks with me and Charlie and Mick together. The very first version of Wandering Spirit, there was 3 versions. The very first version was just Mick, me, and Charlie recording. So I spent a lot of time with Charlie making music, recording together. I have all those tracks.
Your future produce was...
I'm just hoping to make it home tomorrow. After that, I don't know. I'm going to go to the coast next week and write a lot of songs, I hope. And I want to make a new record for me. We have a new song for Guasanes that we just started to record last week. I don't know, man. in my life, things always just appear from the sky. And that's the direction I go. I try not to make a plan because you know what happens when you make a plan.
Because you choose Capital Federal to live. What do you like about Capital Federal?
I just told you, man. It reminds me of New York City in the 70s and the 80s. I just told you that.
Thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you for asking the questions.